Between 1980 and 2017, a black family in a redline neighborhood earned $212,000 less in home equity than a white family across town. Same country, same decades, same dream. Now, most people think redlining ended in 1968. It didn't end, it evolved. Let me decode this for you. 1933, the government creates the Homeowners Loan Corporation. Their job? Decide which neighborhoods were safe to lend money to. So they made maps, 149 cities. They graded every neighborhood A through D. Green meant best, red meant hazardous. And what made a neighborhood hazardous? Not crime, not the houses, the people. If black families lived there, they drew a red line around it. That's where the word comes from, redlining. Once you were inside that red line, the money stopped. Banks wouldn't lend, you couldn't buy, you couldn't build. Neighborhoods marked red got 2.5 times fewer loans than the green ones. Here's why that matters. In America, a house is how most families build wealth. You buy it, it grows, you pass it down. Redlining cut black families out of that machine, on purpose. The research says those maps explain 40 to 50% of the home value gap between black and white neighborhoods for the next 30 years. They didn't teach you this in school, but that red pen is still drawing the map your city follows today. Now somebody's already typing in the comments, redlining's been illegal since the Fair Housing Act of 1968. True, on paper. But ask yourself, if you spend 40 years building a wall and then you make it illegal to build new walls, the old wall is still standing. Those redline neighborhoods? Decades later, they still have lower home values, fewer homeowners, more segregation. Families in formerly redlined areas built 53% less equity than families in the green zones. And the discrimination didn't disappear. It put on a suit. Today, homes in majority black neighborhoods are valued 21 to 23% lower than the exact same home would be in a white neighborhood. A black-owned home is nearly twice as likely to be appraised below the price someone already agreed to pay for it. Same house, same bricks, lower number because of who lives in it. That's redlining. It just doesn't need a map anymore. But keeping you from buying is only half the game. The other half, taking what you already own. In 1910, one generation out of slavery, black Americans owned somewhere between 16 and 19 million acres of farmland. By the end of the century, 90% of it was gone, around 12 million acres, lost. How do you lose land that's paid for? A legal trick called heirs property. When a family owns land but grandpa passed without a will, every descendant owns a sliver. The USDA calls this the leading cause of black involuntary land loss. Here's the play. A developer finds one distant cousin, somebody who's never even seen the land, and buys their tiny share for cheap. Now the developer is a co-owner. Then they walk into court and demand a partition sale, force the whole property to be auctioned. The family that lived there for 100 years gets a check and an eviction notice. Ask the Reels brothers in North Carolina. Their family bought waterfront land one generation after slavery. They spent 8 years in jail, not for a crime, but for refusing to leave land that developers maneuvered out from under them. Researchers put the price tag on this theft at $326 billion. That's not a typo, billion. And if you think that's history, let me bring you to right now. It's called deed theft. Somebody forges your signature or tricks you into signing a paper you don't understand and files it at the county clerk. Overnight, the deed to your home has a new name on it. Yours is gone. Who do they target? Same people as always. Older, black and brown. Families who've held the same home for generations, in Bed-Stuy, Crown Heights, Harlem, Southeast Queens. In New York City, more than 3,500 deed theft complaints were filed between 2014 and 2023, and it's accelerating. Complaints jumped to 517 in 2025, more than triple 2 years earlier. One investor, Sanford Solney, was convicted on 17 charges for stealing the deeds to 11 homes, targeting people in foreclosure in black neighborhoods. In 2025, New York's Attorney General brought the first charges under a brand new deed theft law against people accused of stealing the home of an 88-year-old widow in hospice care. 88 years old, dying, and they came for her house. 1933, they used a red pen. The 1900s, they used the courthouse. 2025, they use a forged signature, same theft, new paperwork. So when somebody tells you that was a long time ago, get over it. Show them the receipts. The wealth gap in this country isn't an accident, and it isn't ancient history. It's a system that keeps separating Black families from the one thing that builds generational wealth, the land under their feet. The method changes every generation. The result never does. That's not a coincidence, that's a design. If this is the kind of history they left out of your textbook, subscribe, drop a comment. Did your family ever own land that disappeared? I read every one. Know your history. Black history is American history. This is Cypher with Malik.